Hello guys, I'm Edson Mendes and today I had a very special idea. It comes to my mind that I needed to know more about the story of Pocahontas and more about the creative process of her creation and movie and etc. So today I found her entire art book on the website archive.org on this.com. So today I'm very happy and glad to start this project of mine where I will read her story and the more about the process of creation of her movie. So this book is free available on archive.org. Uh, you guys can borrow this book to read on your browsers, but I want to do that for myself, and as long as can practice my English and pronunciations well, so I think it would be good to share with you guys this book. And so let's just start. The Art of Pocahontas, text by Stephen Rebello. A curiosity fact that I need to share with you guys is that Pocahontas was one of the first movies that I had contact in my life. So since I was a child, Pocahontas means a lot to me because I really watched her movie I think more than 20 times since I was in this world. Is one of the most iconic stories for me because of the songs, of the beauty of the designs, the art style. So reading this book for me is a really present. So let's start. Here we can see pictures. I forgot to say, one of the things that I'm going to do during this process of reading the book is analyzing the pictures because I think it gives more value to the process of reading because it's an art book, so it doesn't make sense to only read what's wrote and not giving the right amount of attention to the other things. So as we can see here, there's a picture of a leaf on the river, and in the other side, oh, there's this other picture. Very beautiful indeed. So here's a continuation of this picture. And here we can start to see a very no face for us. That is John Smith as he was taking water in the river. So we can see here and the reflection of our beloved princess here on his hands. I think it's a Glencairn sketch it because he have a very particular method of drawing and way of doing things. So I guess it's hints, but we're going to choose C. Guys, I will continue this video as long as I borrow the book again. There's a limited time to see the books and to read, but there's no problem because there's not a really limit for doing that on the archive.org.com, so not a problem at all. Here we can see Pocahontas hiding from John Smith, and in the other part, some rocks. I guess it's from the waterfall from the previous pages. Here, I think is one of the most iconic scenes that I ever saw in a movie. That is when Pocahontas is like hiding in the first meeting, John Smith. Here is John Smith pointing her gun directly at her. When she was like, when she stands on this skin is marvelous. It's one of the most beautiful things because John like just stares at her and her eyes speak. So you can see here the way he looks at her. I think that the character production and the way that they behave on this movie is what really gives it special meaning because there's some situations that words aren't needed, and in this case of Pocahontas it's the true fact that words sometimes aren't needed to tell a story. It's just the visuals and the vibe and the whole atmosphere. So uh, this this is the face of a princess. Here are some observations. This is a 1995 movie, so the book is the same, miniature edition. But I think it for a miniature edition, it's almost 2,000 pages, so it's great. Um, Here are some observations about the chapters on the books and the artist is involved. There's a lot of great artists here, some of them being responsible for every character in this movie, so I think it's very interesting to see. And let's get along. Here, content introduction. What's really freaked me to see it's that Pocahontas initially was this little girl. The whole concept of the movie really changed over the production, and I think this is really interesting fact because we can directly see how fast things can change, how fast, uh, how completely our whole concept can change based on a single idea. So I think it's very interesting. So let's start it on the introduction. A beautiful Indian princess falls in love with an European settler and is torn between her father's wishes to destroy the settlers and her own wishes to help them. Original pitch presentation for Pocahontas. So, when the original story notion for Pocahontas, a project born as the best projects almost are out of passion. One might say that Pocahontas began over a Thanksgiving family dinner in 1990. Director Mikey Gabriel had completed his work on Disney's animated feature, The Rescuers Down Under. He had also been collaborating on a vastly different follow-up projects with Joe Grant, the esteemed Disney storyman and character design, whose history with the studio stretches back to Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio and Dumbo. Although their styles and sensibilities meshed instantly, and the new project have yet to come together. While Gabriel sat happily surrounded by his family enjoying the traditional Thanksgiving festivities, he found himself musing over exactly what project to tackle next. As soon as I thought of the Native American girl Pocahontas and her coming together with John Smith, a story of two separate clashing worlds trying to understand each other, it hit me that is that this was it, said Gabriel. I got so excited I blurted out to my family. I've got the next big idea. Pocahontas. The story of Pocahontas had through the years become a legend in which historical reality and romantic myths intertwine beguilingly, be, beguilingly begrudgingly, begrudgingly. As a school children, we learned how, on April morning in 1607, English settlers made their first successful foray into the New World, launching the colony of Jamestown, Virginia. On learning how Pocahontas, daughter of that region's powerful tribal chief, Powhatan, intervened to save Captain John Smith when her father ordered the execution of that British settler. We become moved and inspired by her bravery, her vision. Did Pocahontas fall in love with Smith, a world-traveling soldier and adventurer who had, as he wrote, been everywhere, done everything? Did Pocahontas truly lay her cheek against Smith to stop her father's order that Smith be blunt, plunged? No one really knows what happened between Smith and Pocahontas, asserted Gabriel, who researched historical accounts as well as children's books and novels for young adults on the subject. Even in the form of raw material, the historical and mythical elements of the Pocahontas tale showed promise for a lovers against the world story. A 17th century American Romeo and Juliet. At Disney, we are always searching for projects set in big mythic arenas. When Mike made his speech, we had been thinking about an animated version of Romeo and Juliet, with its clash of two worlds and its especially timely theme of if we don't learn to live with one another, we'll all destroy ourselves. Recall Peter Snyder, president of Feature Animation. It is an important message to a generation of people to stop fighting, stop killing each other because of the color of your skin, who you are because you feel differently about religion. The challenge was how to do a movie with such a theme and make it an interesting, romantic, and fun. We never wanted to do a docudrama, but something that was inspired by the legend. We never wavered from the idea of how important it would be to make a story about the clash of two worlds. The studio gave the project an official go ahead under the guidance of the Senior Vice President of Development, Thomas Schumacher. Director Gabriel and Joy Grant began to develop ideas for the film. The creative team would soon widen to include producer James Pentecost, director Eric Goldberg, art director Michael Giaimo, and the songwriting team of Alan Menken and Steven Schwartz. Virtually from the outset, its creators envisioned Pocahontas as a further refinement of the classic Disney animated legacy, as well their, as well the next step in the evolution of the studio's new animated tradition, as exemplified by the critically acclaimed, hugely financially successful The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. Disney 33rd full-length animated feature with its stunning use of color and stylization. Its breakthrough animation of complex, multidimensional human characters, its timely concern with tolerance and respect for the natural environment, was to require peak level artistry from literally hundreds of collaborations. It's not only a successor to such Disney landmarks as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio and Fantasia, but also a harbinger of an accelerating new era of in animated movie making. On the eve of this new venture, all the Disney team knew was the crucial part of the journey. The artistic challenges, the potential triumphs lay just around the river bend. So here we can see a picture of Pocahontas, I guess, on the forest, which is really beautiful. Pocahontas in the Forest, concept by Vince Gary. Um, here, uh, a part of a full picture of the boat, I guess. And we will continue this chapter on another video, so stay tuned.